where, as you said, before there was over 500 different productions out there. Now things have gotten smaller. And now you're seeing, obviously, when we started, there was daytime, there was prime time, and then there was motion picture film. And you sort of, you have to make a choice.
Yeah.
Either I'm going to go into daytime, I'm going to go into prime time to hopefully lead me to film. But now it's like
And
you're
commercials,
seeing
right?
and commercials. And now you're seeing like the biggest names in the industry. Take, for example, your show, that are now coming on these primetime shows,
Yeah.
and taking away, like, for example, like if a Denzel Washington wanted to be on Power, he could be on fucking Power. But then that means for the other actor,
Yeah.
who's on the grind, is probably not even going to get seen or called because Denzel wants to be in the movie. So, like, for you, have you ever been in a position where, like, you wanted something but didn't get it, and it was taken by, somebody that you felt that either wasn't deserving or didn't earn it or wasn't even as good?
I mean, I have felt that way so many times in my career. I mean, not in the last decade, because I just have moved off of that. That's kind of, when I was younger, I would go up for something that I was really passionate about, and I was just like, filled my heart with like, oh my God, this is happening. This is it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, I remember, here's an example of one. I was up for this thing on the West Wing, and I was like, oh shit, this is happening, and it was feeling like it was going to happen, right?
Okay.
And it was a great arc, and then at the last minute, that Matthew Perry stepped in and was like, oh, I want to do it, and so
Okay.
Matthew Perry got it, and then he got nominated for an Emmy for it, right? And I'm like, good for him. I'm not complaining about that, but I'm just like, oh, this fucking business, because if it comes down to it, and this is what we're talking about, and I get it. There's it is a business. It's show business. So they're going, look, Matthew Perry is going to draw more eyes than Shane Johnson, and that's true. I would put my acting. I'm not criticizing his acting, but I'm saying, but I would go toe to toe with Matthew Perry as an actor. But that actually doesn't even enter into the equation. That's not the point. The point is that he's Matthew Perry, and I have to just respect that and go like, hey man, that's the business. So to your point earlier, yes, it fucking sucks that we're in this Instagram, TikTok sort of world where somebody can come out and do some cool little funny video about their dog, and all of a sudden they have 400,000 followers, and they're an influencer now because they did some funny meme, or they took a basketball shot from across the street and they made it, or they flipped a bottle and it landed on the lid, or whatever the fuck it is. And now they're an influencer, and you're going, holy shit, I spent 40 years developing a craft, and I just got bypassed by somebody. You know what I mean?
No, and it's true, because I see it. I mean, I see it every day, and I just go like, and that's why I said, like, to me, the industry, it's like a time warp right now. Like you I don't even know what direction sometimes it's going, because it's like when you see people getting passed up, for opportunities, and I don't care about myself. I even have friends where I'm like, how what are these agents even in and casting directors, like, what is really their focal point? Is it, so for you, like, how do you deal with, or have you ever had a situation, even on Power, have you ever picked up a bad script where you just really weren't feeling the material, but you have to say it anyway? What's your approach to that?
I love that question, because I feel like as actors, it's important for us to approach material from the standpoint of, and this is a Richard Lawson thing, is that the author is a genius until proven otherwise, right?
Okay.
So what that means to me is do everything, because a lot of actors will come in and go like, oh, I wouldn't say it this way. I wouldn't do that. Oh, that doesn't feel right to me, or this is better. And it's like, you know what? You're putting.
Hold on. A fan just said, oh, sorry, I'll go back to that. A fan just said, guys, watching Possession of Michael King, if you didn't get this, the acting of Shane is legendary. And it's true,
That's so
guys. If you
nice.
haven't seen that
Thank you.
film, you need to watch it. Continue, bro.
Um, and so anyway, I think that God, what was I saying? I've got to stop, slow down. Hold on, I need my breaks, dude.
Don't worry, man. Take your time. This is like drink champs right now. God damn it.
Damn it. I actually don't remember what I was saying. Um, Thank you for the comment about the Michael King. That's awesome. But no, anyway, I just feel like we have to, God, what was I talking about?
You were talking
Oh,
about
you were talking about finding material. You were talking about
yes,
material that you don't
material, and then
necessarily,
what you do
that's
with a
right.
bad script.
And so I feel like it's important to do everything you can to find a way to elevate the material.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of like synergy, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
the author gives you something, and you may judge it, but you shouldn't. Ideally, I mean, granted, listen, we've all had those scripts, especially like sometimes you'll get these indie scripts that you're like, oh my god, this is fucking terrible, right? And maybe those are the things that if you're not desperate, that you just go, I'm not auditioning for this,
Okay.
or you go in and you go, you know what? I'm going to elevate the shit out of this material and show them and help them by bringing synergy between what their vision is
Okay.
and what I can bring to it. And hopefully we find a kind of happy marriage of, they go, holy shit, it's not exactly what I wrote, but it's actually better than what I wrote. That's okay. But I think that the most important thing is to start from a place of how do I make this material my own?
Mm-hmm.
I'll admit something to you. Actually, I did have a script. I did have a script recently that I was like, no,
Was
this
this
is
on
not.
Power or is this a different project? On
I'm not
Power or
going to
different?
say. I'm not going to
Okay.
say. But it was. I was like, no, this is not in line with who I am. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
mean me, I mean who the character is, right?
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, so how do I wrap my creative brain around this? And so what I did is I went to the writer and I went to the
Mm-hmm.
director and I was like, so listen, which is by the way very uncomfortable to do. And I was like, I don't think I would do this. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think I don't think my character would say this unless but I framed it in a way that I was like, unless I'm misunderstanding, unless I'm missing something.
Mm-hmm.
Because if correct me if I'm wrong, but this is who this character is, right? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool, cool. So that's who he is. Then how the hell does he get to this point?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And and so we found the like happy medium, but that's rare. Usually usually it's just figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
I just figure it out. I try to be 100% accurate and true to this script because I feel like it's paying respect to the author, to the writer, and letting them kind of know that I respect and appreciate their work, and that my job is to like a saxophone player. My job is to look at their shit and go, okay, now how do I put that through this instrument and bring it to life, as opposed to going like, nah, I don't like that. This is more fun. You know
So
what I
you've
mean?
had like some famous one-liners on Power and stuff like that. How much
Yeah.
of that has been ad-libbing and more script?
Well, earlier on, I would say that there were quite a few of those were a combination of both, where I would kind of deliver something that they had written in a way that they just did not see it being delivered. And I think that the writers started to write for that. I think the
Okay.
writers really liked this sort of humor and this sort of like snarky, arrogant, bullshitty sort of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they started writing for that. And I
Wording
think they
that way.
really started having fun with, and so then I would start to see the one-liners and scenes where I was like, oh, they totally are, we're in the same vibe, right? Like they get it. I would say 85% of those are written. and maybe 15% of them are me kind of throwing a little something on it, and always with approval, because
Mm-hmm.
usually I'll do something at a table read, and the writer will go like, "Oh, that's great," and they'll add it to the script. They're pretty
You've
good
had
about that.
so you've had like, this long 8-year run on the show, dodging
Jesus,
bullets,
yeah,
literally.
yeah, like
And
fucking like I'm
the
like
Matrix.
Neo. I'm like Neo.
So like for you, like, and you had, the opportunity to work with such incredible talent, Amari, Notori, Joseph
Joe,
Sikora.
yeah,
I mean, 50. It's like, to me, it's like a master class of the best of the best. So like for you, what would you say, one, your growth from Shane Johnson as an actor from season 1 to Shane Johnson as an actor to season 8, and also working on the show with this tremendous talent, even now with Method Man and Mary J. Blige, what have you learned from each actor? And we can go down, and I'll give you like a word association of each actor. Like, what have you learned from working with each person? Layla, Omari, 50. But we'll start in a sense with 50. What have you learned from being on the show from season 1 as an actor to now? What have you learned from working with him?
uh, see this bad boy right here?
Okay. Yep. Okay. Yep.
Hustle harder, hustle smarter. 50, man, you gotta love 50. He's a great dude. He's the real deal. He's like an entrepreneur. He's positive. I mean, I know he does a lot of online. He does a lot of shit talking. He's somebody that is like my age, which is crazy to me that we're the same age. But he's mastered social media, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
he's somebody that could have just disappeared in the age of social media, and instead he's like dominating it and killing it. And he's really figured out his brand, like his shit talking sort of brand, and it
Mm-hmm.
really really works for him. I with him with 50, I would say the thing that I have learned from him is it's okay to be exceptional. It's okay.
True, dude. Spoke the words out of my mouth, because I've always said, I had this conversation just last night. You know, there's almost a point that, like, when you deal with the social media era, and as you said, like in the first part, you said it kind of bothered you when you were getting the hate. And to me, you have to, and I think people have to understand, is that, like, when he's getting hate of a character, like I see in the comments, people, I hate him, but I love him. That means you're doing your fucking job. Like, you
Right. Yeah.
literally are doing your job. When you are doing your job to the point where it, like, for me, like the character that I have coming up for the Dorner series, I play a character which was, if you guys know the story of Christopher Dorner, um, I was part of the SWAT team that shot up these old ladies on the pursuit of Dorner, and literally like 107 bullets, and we all got acquitted. And and for me, when people were like asking, like, why would you want? I'm like, I like complex. I like complex
Yeah.
roles that, that make people sit and think for a minute, like, this is unacceptable. But even the things that Cooper Sacks does, this is everyday real life shit. Like, it's unacceptable for TV, but this shit, there's actually people in our judicial system that act and do those things literally, and get away with it. And this is where, to me, I'm like, when I'm watching you, as you said, getting hate, and getting hate and getting hate, I'm like, he's doing his job. But when you're that good at what you do, why should you apologize for it? Why should you apologize for greatness? Because remember, you worked your ass off to
Yeah. Yeah.
get to this opportunity. You, as you said, you didn't just dodge bullets as Cooper Sacks on the show. You dodge bullets in life, because that's what this business is about. It's about taking those hits like 50 did with all those bullets going into his body. You take the
Yeah,
same
man.
same injection in the business is to be able to take the